In the midst of a really crazy season of my life, I stumbled upon the boxing team at West Virginia, and I said, you know what, why not? Boxing makes you be present. I think you need to be in the present, in the very moment, because again, life or death sometimes does matter. When the things that life happen, you're able to adapt no matter what it is, no matter how hot it is, no matter how hard it is, no matter how unreasonable it is. It is tough sometimes to lace up the gloves. It is tough sometimes to get up after you've been knocked down, but that's part of the game. And every day we get 86,400 moments that we get to maximize and utilize. So today, if you have an opportunity to make progress, take it.
Welcome to Responder Resilience. Today we have a special guest, Coach PJ Shirdan from FightCamp, an interactive at-home boxing and kickboxing training system that combines streaming workouts, punch-cracking technology, and gym-quality equipment. PJ will share insights on how boxing can build discipline and resilience, key qualities for first responders. And we're going to dive into the emotional and physical benefits of training, how boxing training contributes to overall physical fitness and preparedness. And don't miss your chance to win a free, complete FightCamp system valued at $799. We'll have more details to come later in the show. We invite you to like and subscribe, YouTube, Responder Resilience, Facebook, Responder TV, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and go to our website, respondertv.com, for past episodes and guest information. This episode is made possible by the First Responder Center for Excellence. Discover more at firstrespondercenter.org and connect with us on X, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube.
There's a new app built by firefighters for firefighters, and it's called Crackle. Download the app now for free as a Legacy member and get early access to exclusive content, tools, and updates as they drop. Get the free app at crackle.respondertv.com.
We'll be right back to speak with Coach PJ after this.
In this family, more of us die by our own hands than by the hazards of the job.
In this family, up to a quarter of 911 telecommunicators have symptoms of post-traumatic stress.
In this family, our mental health and wellness are in crisis,
while responders are quietly suffering.
In this family, many struggle with job-related stress,
burnout, moral injury,
sleep disruptions, substance abuse,
and relationship problems.
In this family, we can help the helpers.
with vital information and resources,
resilient strategies,
and success stories of overcoming the obstacles.
In this family, no one is alone.
Welcome to Responder Resilience with co-hosts retired Lieutenant David Dashinger, Dr. Stacy Raymond, and Bonnie Rumley, LCSW EMTB.
For this special episode, we'd like to welcome Coach PJ Shirdan. He began his career as Division I athlete at West Virginia University. He developed a passion for performance and resilience, and he transitioned from collegiate sports to boxing, and he trained with NFL athletes, professional boxers, UFC icons, the legendary Mike Tyson, and that propelled him into elite fitness coaching. Most recently, Philip became the face of sport tech startup FightCamp, revolutionizing home boxing workouts. His energy and expertise have inspired millions worldwide. Inside and beyond the ring, Philip's mission is to elevate lives mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Whether coaching athletes or empowering professionals, his approach is rooted in care and passion. Coach PJ, welcome to Responder Resilience.
Thank you so much for having me, David. It is a blessing and a privilege to be here with you.
I've had the absolute pleasure of training, doing the FightCamp workouts, and with you as a coach for quite a few of them. So we're going to dive into this, and hopefully we'll turn some people on to the great stuff FightCamp is doing.
I love it.
So in terms of your journey in the world of sports and workout fitness, can you tell us a little bit about how you became a boxing coach? Like, what drew you to boxing?
Great question. Well, I wasn't my first choice. I'll say that first off. I spent most of my childhood wanting to play football and at least go to college for free and get a scholarship. So that's what my focus was on. Growing up outside of Philadelphia, Monsignor Bonner High School is where I attended. I was immersed in football. I trained hard. I put myself in positions to play and to prevail and to earn scholarships. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play football at the highest level. And ended up taking a scholarship at West Virginia University, where some of the best years of my life happened, but also some of the hardest and darkest days that I can look back on. In the midst of a really crazy season of my life, I stumbled upon the boxing team at West Virginia, and I said, you know what, why not? Just try it. And walked in, worked out with the team, and within a couple of months, I had my first fight, and I started to really enjoy boxing. And from there, my whole life I had kind of been close to some really good coaches and some really good mentors of mine who helped me develop strength and speed and resilience. And they left a lasting impact in my life. And it kind of made me want to dive into coaching. So with boxing, coaching was just something that sort of naturally happened. There was a need for, upperclassmen to sort of lead the youngers, and I just sort of volunteered in that role. And ironically, after college, it ended up being something that kind of led me to start training at gyms and start coaching with professional fighters. And that sort of led me down the road out here to California, where boxing became not just a hobby and a passion of mine, something I did on the side. It ended up becoming a career for me. And I look back on it now, over 15 years later, boxing is still something that I'm passionate about. It's still something that I do. But more than that, it's helping human beings grow, get better, and make every day their best day ever.
Yeah, I love the fact you went through the open door when you discovered that opportunity to go to the boxing team on the college level. And so that's brought you to today, which is as a coach with FightCamp. And what would you like people to know about it? Like, to me, it's amazing, right? You would think if you want to train in boxing, you need to go to a boxing gym, have probably a lot of equipment, have a coach and carve out the time to do it. How does FightCamp have a different approach to all that?
Well, FightCamp is a really great solution for those that want to get in shape, are home, don't feel like they can go out to a gym. There's a lot of resistance sometimes about walking into a boxing gym or MMA gym. A lot of intimidation can happen. They're not really marketed really great out into the world. So a lot of people have this perception that boxing gyms are dirty and rugged and tough. And a lot of them can be. But what FightCamp does is that it allows people to train in the comforts of their home on their own time, whenever they want, whether it's 4:00 in the morning or 5 in the afternoon or 11. You can train anytime, anywhere. So with the FightCamp system, you have the bag, you have the trackers, you have access to thousands of workouts with coaches, with not only great performance on stage, but every fighter's been a fighter. Every coach has been a fighter, so they speak from a place of experience. FightCamp is just, I think it's the best. There are other at-home systems where you can train and work on your fitness. But with FightCamp, not only do you get in great shape, not only do you get to learn a skill or skills, but you're able to kind of be a part of a community, which is a whole lot different. So it does give you that boxing gym type of feel, but just at home and safe, and you don't get punched in the face.
Hey firefighters, let's take a moment to talk about something important. There's a new app built by firefighters for firefighters, and it's not just another wellness tracker or generic resource hub. It's called Crackle. You've probably seen the magazine, but this is the next evolution. The app is about one thing: helping firefighters not fail. Not just on the job, but in life. In your health, your relationships, your mindset, and your longevity. That's why Crackle is designed to meet firefighters exactly where they are, with resources that make sense, are easy to use, and actually respect your time. You can download the app now for free as a Legacy member. That means you get early access to exclusive content, tools, and updates as they drop. Use the QR code on the screen to download the Crackle app, or you can download it from the App Store or Google Play, and stay in the fight. Not just at work, but at home and in your own head too. Because your best days shouldn't be behind you, they should be ahead of you.
I guess it's important to know, because I didn't realize this, it's not just boxing workouts. There's other kinds of workouts you can choose from. You can also stack workouts, not just do a boxing, but you could follow it with ab work or something like that. So, Coach, talk a little bit about kind of like the options, the different, the variety of stuff you can choose from in terms of fitness.
Yes. FightCamp has a a lot of workouts. I'll put it like that. All right.
Yeah.
So there is different modalities, right? We have boxing, of course. Kickboxing is another one where you can actually have your kicks tracked. We do strength and conditioning as well as core and recovery and stretch and dynamic warm-up. So as you mentioned, David, stacking, yes, you can put a dynamic warm-up in the beginning of a boxing workout and then add abs at the end of it and then do strength at the end of it or conditioning, or you can do them all. It kind of is catered to you where you can kind of pick your own workout for that day and what your needs are. All of the workouts are unique. They're all different. I've been here, working and partnering with FightCamp since like 2018, and I don't think I've ever taught the same workout. It's thousands of workouts. So within each of those modalities, we do have different types of workouts. So in the boxing workouts, let's just say there's workouts where you'll work your full body. There are workouts where you might do some plyometrics in there, like some squat jumps or some lunges or some plank punches, which are kind of unique to the FightCamp system. There are other workouts where you'll do a switch stance. So you'll work in both southpaw and orthodox stances where you kind of have to work your brain fitness and your body fitness. There's things like burnout workouts where you're going to be at a high level, fast pace, basically doing sprints throughout the workout. And that, has the same type of tone with kickboxing. In our strength workouts, we have open and we have intermediate. So we have higher level workouts, a little lighter ones. We have 5 rounds, 3 rounds. There's so much variety in the FightCamp app. It kind of is hard to ever get bored. It's kind of hard to ever not find something that will work for you.
Absolutely. And the other piece that we touched on was that there's a high-tech aspect to this where your punch strike count gets tracked, the power output gets tracked. You can fight against a bot. I guess I haven't done this, but you can also kind of be paired up with someone else who's fighting in real time. Is that how it works?
Yeah. So, the technology is pretty cool. You can, you have these little sensors that go into your gloves and they will actually track how many punches you throw. On boxing and kickboxing workouts, there's this thing called the leaderboard, which is everyone that's ever taken that workout basically stacked up against one another and ranked. And the way you get ranked higher up on the board is through output. Now, output is what FightCamp describes a cumulative score based on the number of punches you throw, how hard you throw them, and how fast they are. So you want to get that score up. You hit harder, you hit faster, and you'll see your output go through the roof. Now, yes, you can compete not only with other people all around the world and kind of go against them and what their workout was. So it's already recorded. It'll basically overlay over the screen. But yes, you can also take versus mode, where you'll have your stats on one side of the screen and someone else's on the other, where you can go against a bot and work against someone that's an easy bot or a hard bot. But one of my favorite aspects of FightCamp, I think, is doing you versus you, where you can take your stats from the workout you might have done 4 months ago and then fight against yourself and essentially see how much improvement you've made over the time, where using the technology, you're able to get real-time data and then make improvements on the fly.
Cool stuff. I haven't tried a couple of those things, so I'm going to have to dive in and figure it out. I wanted to also mention that, and this is, it seems like a basic kind of feature, but I love it. And that's, you can kind of pick the music you want for the workout, right? There's like a whole playlist, different types of styles of music, and that's a game changer.
Yeah, you're not just locked into hip hop or EDM or rock. You can kind of shuffle it how you want and pick. Some people have used integrations with other streaming apps like Apple Music, Spotify. They might still have that availability. I'm not sure. But some people also don't like to listen to my dad jokes and hear me talk, and they'll turn the music down completely and play music on a different system. But it's your workout. It's your way. I always like to tell people, do what you need to do for you and where you're at right now.
Personally, I look forward to the dad jokes, so don't stop. keep them coming.
I got you.
So we'll talk a little bit more about the actual, FightCamp itself. And kind of reminder, we're going to be doing a giveaway of a complete FightCamp system. We'll have the details coming up on that in a little bit. PJ, you mentioned the FightCamp community. Can you talk a little bit more about that? I actually haven't dived too deep into that. I'd love to know more.
Oh, yeah. The FightCamp Facebook community is one of the highlights, I think, where people that take fight camp, or even people I've seen on the community who are potential prospects to purchase fight camp, kind of join in on this community where people share their stats, their stories, things they've been fighting through. You know, you can ask random questions. A lot of the trainers are active on there as well and kind of give you guys encouragement, feedback. Sometimes we'll even ask questions on there, like, we're going to teach a workout this week. What type of one would you want? A combo build-up, a pure punching, a switch stance, knockout power, et cetera, et cetera. And so we can kind of ask people what they want. It's a really cool place where you get a little bit of everything: motivation, encouragement, some, you know, tech issues that people might have, some things that come up in the community. It's a really good place where I've seen a lot of relationships grown and built, and people kind of carry that for the rest of their days. And yeah, definitely advise getting into that Facebook community, man.
Cool. All right, I will check it out. So I'm going to talk about the giveaway. Hey, first responders, we have an incredible opportunity just for you. One lucky winner is going to walk away with a free fight camp package valued at $799. Thanks to the amazing partnership between Fight Camp and Responder Resilience, you could kickstart your fitness journey in a whole new way. So what's in the Fight Camp package? You get a freestanding boxing bag and ring, white Fight Camp boxing gloves, Fight Camp console with 4 trackers, Fight Camp quick wraps and the kickboxing ankle wraps, and a heart rate monitor. Fight Camp's trainers help you level up with fun, effective, motivating workouts, so don't miss your chance to win. Simply head over to respondertv.com, click on the Fight Camp tab at the top of the page. Make sure to enter before June 21st, 2025. Get ready to transform your fitness routine. Go to respondertv.com, enter by clicking on the Fight Camp tab at the top of the page. You must enter by June 21st, 2025. Good luck. Coach, someone who gets that package, what would they be looking forward to in terms of equipment and the training experience?
Well, I personally would say that they should be looking forward to getting in the best shape of their lives, having the opportunity to not only gain a skill, but to develop, gain muscle, lose weight, inspire that fighter within. It's going to be a great time for them. I'm excited for whoever wins. It's going down.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I want to see what we can kind of bring to the first responder community as far as the benefits of boxing, and I'm sure you have quite a few that you could share. Well, first, someone who's new to boxing, what are some of the key fundamentals they should focus on? Like whether they have a existing fitness routine or maybe they're just trying to, get into shape for the first time.
Well, I think, again, there's a lot of approaches to how you can develop an athlete and specifically a fighter. My particular approach always starts with the foundation first, right? So stance, footwork, understanding the mechanics of a punch. Those are, I think, the great foundations to kind of get set up and started. And that's something that Fight Camp does with the prospect path, where you'll be able to kind of go through step by step, place by place, how to go from having no experience at all to being able to look and move like a fighter. That's a great first step. So I'm really big on doubling down on where your stance is, how you're balanced through that movement, and then understanding the mechanics of the rotation with a punch. A lot of people think a punch is just like your arm extending out towards a target and coming back. What the punch is a full body movement. You do use just about every muscle when you throw a right punch. So kind of visualizing and understanding the mechanics, which are very similar to tennis or golf or baseball. Those are ways that I like to kind of help athletes get an understanding more of how we're rotating and turning and producing power through our movement. So I would always say start low. Find the stance, get in the balance, figure out whether you're southpaw or orthodox, and kind of just dive in. I think there's no better substitute than experience than just jumping in and figuring it out for yourself.
Great points. One of the things I thought about also is a lot of the traditional exercises we do are kind of, I don't know how you call it, sort of in physiological terms, but they're all done in one plane. Like if we're running, we're kind of just running forward, right? All our limbs are moving in the same direction. Same for cycling, and you probably say that for a bunch of others. So I find boxing to be very like bilateral, but also you're moving side to side. You're, as you said, kind of pivoting, shifting your body weight from side to side. Can you speak a little bit about the physiological parts of that or the benefits of it?
Yeah, when you box, you will work in multiple planes, especially if you do it well, where you will rotate, where you will go back, you will go side to side. There's a lot of movement involved with fighting, especially with classes where, if you train with me or you train with Flow Master, you're going to use your footwork a lot. So you're going to be agile, you're going to be quick on the feet, and basically getting ready for anything. So I came back to that moment about punching is more than just throwing your arm. A lot of core rotation, a lot of hip, a lot of your legs are involved in the mechanics, which done properly, done over time, can have tremendous health benefits and can not only help you improve as an athlete, but you'll see that output climb up and see your score go up higher in the leaderboard. I personally love boxing. I think it is one of the best workouts in the world. I came from a, heavily strength and conditioning focused background, especially with football. And, after a couple ACL tears to my right leg, having to kind of be sidelined, when I started boxing, I started to realize, I can actually do more. I can be in greater shape through this particular modality than any of the other ones I've ever done. So I can't recommend boxing enough for people. And I definitely think, as you get into it and you get immersed into it, it has this way about it that you just start to see it a little bit more. You might start just shadow boxing when you're in a grocery store. You might start watching fights. You might start attending fights just because it has that, uniqueness to it. There's off seasons in football and in basketball and soccer. There's no off season for fighters. So it's one of those really cool sports that you get to see all year round. You can start it at any time, anywhere. Doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. I think boxing and kickboxing are for everyone.
As firefighters and first responders, we're brilliant at the basics. We master the art of stretching the line, and we excel at being there for those who need us most. Yet even the best of us can be caught off guard. We sometimes face unexpected challenges like injury, cancer, or post-traumatic stress symptoms. But you're not alone. The First Responder Center for Excellence is here to equip you with the tools and resources you need to stay informed and prepared. We help you focus on staying strong, safe, fit, and resilient. Optimize your performance with cutting-edge health, wellness, and science information. From fitness to nutrition, medical evaluations to behavioral health, cancer awareness to cardiac health. We've got you covered. Remember, we're stronger together. Discover more at firstrespondercenter.org and connect with us on X, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. The First Responder Center for Excellence. Equip yourself with excellence for every call.
One of the cool things that we have in the world of mostly police and fire is a lot of localities will have a guns versus hoses boxing competition. And so I think that's a fantastic way either to get involved as a participant or at least to go, watch, go check it out. Like you said, doing boxing training, I think, has elevated my interest in watching boxing, professional boxing, because now I'm looking at it differently, right? I'm starting to look for nuances, like starting to see, strategy and tactics. And so I love that kind of added perspective.
You get immersed in it. It's one of those things that for me, it's really hard to watch boxing and not like get your brain focused in there and start to like move a little bit how they're moving and then start to see the opportunities and like, this is what I would do if I was there. So it has that way to it,
Let's talk a little bit about discipline and resilience. One of the things that I think we value as first responders is, we need to be ready to, go on full force any time of the day or night. We get awoken from a deep sleep and have to go from 0 to 100 rather quickly. How does training in boxing kind of help with discipline and resilience that are qualities that first responders really need on a daily basis?
Great question, David. Well, I like to go to the old adage, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And I think training should be a part of everyone's life, but specifically first responders. You sacrifice so much and you put yourself in harm's way which takes a whole different level of being strong mentally and physically. Boxing training is one of those things that I've learned over the years that it pushes you in a lot of ways. Yes, physically, but mentally. It is tough sometimes to lace up the gloves. It is tough sometimes to get up after you've been knocked down. But that's part of the game. That's part of life. I think a lot of the modalities that Fight Camp specifically offers with boxing and strength and conditioning is that you're never comfortable. You're always in a place of uncomfortability onto the next thing. I'm always in my programming doing something different to give you a different view, to give you a different look, so that when the things that life happen, you're able to adapt no matter what it is, no matter how hot it is, no matter how hard it is, no matter how unreasonable it is. You're able to kind of just stay calm and cool and collected and fight forward. So that's what you mentioned some of the anecdotes and things that I say during my coaching is because fitness is one part of it, right? But there's other things in life that we need to kind of always be ready for. So I like to use those coaching moments to not just tell you, bring your elbow in, bring your arm tight, but to fight and to stay disciplined right here in this moment, because a lot of times we come into a workout, we're thinking about other things. We're thinking about what's next. We're focused about last week's past, and that doesn't serve you in that moment. So I always try to use my voice and my reason to encourage people to stay present right now, to stay disciplined, because this moment adds up to the future. And then when something comes up and you need to be ready, you're already there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, discipline is something that we all need, but I think specifically first responders, I mean, man, y'all lead by example. I mean, it's easy to say, I'll lay down my life for somebody I love, but then to actually be in a position to go do it, credit to you guys. Honestly, it's something incredible.
I love one thing that you say pretty much every workout. I take it as a positive affirmation when I hear it, and that's, you didn't show up here today to remain the same. That's a powerful thing to say. What's behind that philosophy?
I'm glad you're picking up what I'm putting down, David. This is a huge encouragement. I say it in my workouts in person. I say it when I train people one-on-one or in group settings or on Fight Camp workouts, anywhere. When people show up to train, the goal should always be to make improvements. The goal should be to come away better, not to just go through the motions, not to just hear a dad joke, not to just check something off the box, right? So, and even the strongest of us can sometimes still go through the motions. So I use those moments in my voice to encourage someone to remember your why, and allowing that to discipline you and to fuel you going forward. Motivation, it can be a short little burst, like a good coffee in the morning, but eventually that caffeine's going to wear off. Yep. Staying disciplined and honing in on why we showed up. Why are we fighting? Who are we fighting for? Where are we going towards? Can keep us, I think, driving a little more forward, more efficiently. So I say that all the time because I want people to get better. When they train with me, I personally take it to heart that I want you to have your best workout ever. I want you to go into this day having the best day ever. But I can only want that so much for you. You have to be the one to do it. You have to be the one to show up for yourself and to show out. And, it really comes down to progress. Like, there's a huge myth in the world that you can either go forward and make improvements, you can stay the same, or you can make a little regression and go backward. You're not ever going to stay the same. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. That lie that we can be stagnant and be okay, it has harmed a lot of us. So I want to always encourage people, when I have the opportunity for them to get better, and to get better now. Tomorrow's workout is not guaranteed, but you have this moment right now. So let's use it to make progress and to get better. So that's a little bit of the heart behind what I say. I know I say it a lot shorter, and maybe a little less nice, but yeah, the heart behind it is for you to get better and for you to do it on your own.
Right. Absolutely. Love it. It's, we're all evolving. We're all kind of moving, onward and upward is the intention anyways.
Introducing FD Teas, the only gourmet tea crafted with first responders and their families in mind. Proudly firefighter and veteran owned, our collection of gourmet organic teas is uniquely designed to honor those who are on the front lines to protect our communities. At FDTs, we believe in quality. That's why we source the freshest organic tea available, offering you the most popular flavors that not only excite your taste buds, but also bring comfort and relaxation to your daily life. Indulge in our specialty blends: classic Earl Grey, soothing chamomile, vibrant green tea with ginger root, decadent chocolate salty caramel black tea, and robust Irish breakfast. FDTs makes for a special and unique gift, perfect for any occasion or season. Taste the difference and show your appreciation for the rescuers in your life with FDTs. Available on FDTs.com and in our Etsy store, Fire Department Prints. Also available on Walmart.com as Fire Department Prints.
Coach, you mentioned earlier about presence, and I think that's a super important concept for first responders in particular. We're in situations sometimes where we have to make really quick, very critical decisions, sometimes life or death, or having to do with, pretty heavy circumstances. How does boxing help you or anyone become more present and maybe more, think more clearly, more kind of in the moment?
Great question again, David. Personally, whenever I train, and I've had this same conversation with a lot of my students, when you have a really tough combination that you're working on, or a really tough round coming up, or a footwork movement, something like that, most of the time, even the most elite athlete kind of has to pause, to think. The more experience you have, the less that pause is. But with boxing, most of the times, especially if I give someone a combination like a 1-2-3-2, 5-3-2, slip 6-3-2, you hear that, you go, whoa, wait, that's not just supernatural. My body doesn't just do this all the time. I have to sit here in this moment and think, all right, it's a 1 and it's a 2, then the 3 and the 2. So as you box, for the most part, it has to be thought through. It has to be in this moment right now. I need to stay present here. I'm not going to get this combination right if I'm so forward thinking about what happens next week or what event's going to come. I can't be in my best self, and I can't improve here if I'm so distraught and thinking about this mistake I made 3 weeks ago that impacted this or this or this. Boxing makes you be present. I also think there's some other sports like, jiu-jitsu is another one, even swimming. I think you need to be in the present, in the very moment, because again, life or death sometimes does matter. In boxing specifically, if you are in a fight and you get distracted or you're looking over this way, there's a chance that you can get knocked out. Same thing in jiu-jitsu. You can get choked out, or swimming, you could drown and die. So you need to stay present in the moments. And I think that the more repetitions you go through, the more you're dialed in and staying present with your breath, with your rest, with your hydration, with your nutrition, the more tapped in we can be to be present. And then, of course, training like that, where I'm here, I'm in this moment, my eyes are here, my ear is here, my heart is here. When you train like that over time consistently, I think that starts to show up in your day-to-day, in your work. Which is, again, something that I still wrestle with and struggle with every day. And I'm trying to get better at being present, because wherever you are, that's where you are completely. So it's great to keep your mind there as well.
Yeah, I think, what you were talking about with, say, a more complicated combination that, first you have to sort of think through it, like figure it out. How do I physically put this combination of punches and moves together? Then what you're repeating it, not once, but several times. And then that repetition, what I'm finding is I get into this Zen place of like, I'm not thinking about it anymore. The combination's starting to happen. It's starting to flow. And I'm in that flow state, which I love. I think that's one of the coolest things about doing this training. Like, talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, not all the time do we get into flow states, not all the right circumstances come into play. But as you mentioned it, David, I do find myself every now and then, and working with clients as well, one-on-one, it can happen. It comes from repetitions. It comes from an abundance of time doing a certain craft. But one thing for me, I think with boxing, and this might even help you, when I started, I was terrible. I don't think I was good at all. Now, I won my first 4 fights by knockout, but like, was I the best? No. So one thing that really helped me, because I couldn't grasp all these combinations, and someone's yelling at me and telling them to me, and I just couldn't get it. And then I just started to say it back to myself. I started to use positive self-talk, but also telling my brain as I'm punching, all right, 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, my right's my 1. It's 2 is 3. I would just start saying it out loud. People would think I'm crazy. People would say this. Why are you yelling so hard? Like, I want to get this down so that I can understand. So it was a helpful tool for me, and I always encourage people, whatever you're doing, say it. Your brain's going to function and your body's going to react and move how you are telling it to. So it's okay to sound a little crazy. If you want to get into a flow state, sometimes this requires us to, again, speak to what it is we want to do. Another aspect to, I think, getting into a flow state is controlling our breath. And, it's something that we all do passively. But, it wasn't until a few years ago through some research and then through some certifications, I started to understand that the breath is a little bigger than just an inhale and an exhale. There's a lot of parts to it. And I think once you get to a training aspect where you're regimenting it a little bit, you're focusing in on your inhales, your exhales, you're controlled during your rest, you're controlled during your work, that you can do far more than you ever thought you could. So again, I think a lot of that has to do with here and how you train yourself. So I'm really big on trying to get into a flow state. It doesn't happen all the time, but when you're there, people mention like a runner's high. It can feel really good to just flow and move, and you feel like you're invincible. So I don't tell people to always strive for that, because it's a few and far between type of thing. But just whenever you train, strive to do your best.
Great, thanks for sharing that. And I'm thinking firefighters, but any first responder, paramedics, police officers, a lot of motor skills that come into play, sometimes in rapid sequence and usually in highly stressful scenarios. So again, I think having this training where you are moving quickly, you're doing very coordinated efforts that have a tangible result. And I found that for me, it's starting to actually change my my reflexes. Like I'm actually able to kind of react quicker after doing the boxing training.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that that's really important, especially when timing, reaction, split thinking. Well, you're going to have to react. That's the name of the game, essentially. If you're slow to moments like this, people's lives are at stake. So I'm a big fan of, if you are aiming to do something, you should sort of train like that. Train as close as you can to that real life thing. Like if I'm training for a marathon, I'm not just going to ride my bike all the time. If I am training to fight and to be in a ring, strength and conditioning is cool. But if I'm only lifting weights, I'm not really preparing myself for that. In the realm of first responder life, where you have to drop everything and move immediately, I think training in modalities like boxing and kickboxing and strength and conditioning are vital and key. I wouldn't recommend just riding a bike just to help you be the best that you can be. It might be great for an accessory type of exercise and something you do every now and then, but I highly would recommend first responders get involved with boxing, kickboxing, martial arts, anything like that, where you're going to have to train fast, go hard, and get better, and it be on you.
Just want to remind everyone, we're going to be giving away a full Fight Camp package. Go to our website. It's respondertv.com. Go to the tab at the top that says Fight Camp, and you'll get to the contest form to submit to become eligible to win this Fight Camp package. Hey, first responders, we have an incredible opportunity just for you. One lucky winner is going to walk away with a free Fight Camp package valued at $799. Thanks to the amazing partnership between Fight Camp and Responder Resilience, you could kickstart your fitness journey in a whole new way. So what's in the Fight Camp package? You get a freestanding boxing bag and ring, white Fight Camp boxing gloves, Fight Camp console with 4 trackers, FightCamp quick wraps, and the kickboxing ankle wraps, and a heart rate monitor. FightCamp's trainers help you level up with fun, effective, motivating workouts, so don't miss your chance to win. Simply head over to respondertv.com, click on the FightCamp tab at the top of the page. Make sure to enter before June 21st, 2025. Get ready to transform your fitness routine. Go to respondertv.com. Enter by clicking on the FightCamp tab at the top of the page. You must enter by June 21st, 2025. Good luck. We got some good questions here that I'd love to run by you.
Okay, let's shoot.
So when life gets hard, what's the question you ask yourself to keep going?
When life gets hard, I think I come back to the why. I come back to the why am I doing what I'm doing in this moment right now? Is this serving me and helping me go towards that goal and the why I got started? Or is this something that is not important? I think when life gets hard, which is everybody experiences some aspect of life being hard, we're all going to get knocked down. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I think the more we understand our why and we have that driving us, the faster we can rise up onto our feet. You know, whether that why is for personal reasons or for your faith or for your family. I think having that in the forefront of your brain doesn't necessarily take away all the pain. It doesn't necessarily take away the hard work that you have to do, but I think it can realign your discipline immediately and get you back to where you need to go. So I ask my why all the time. And I want to encourage everyone else to understand why they're doing what they're doing. Why are they showing up to work? Why are they showing up to this workout? Why are they showing up for these extra things outside of all of that? And allow that to be at the forefront and maybe help shift and shape where you need to go.
So important. I think a lot of times I found in first responder world where we do the job for decades sometimes, and we came into it with a very clear mission and purpose and drive, and sometimes over time we lose a little bit of sight of what that why is. So thank you for putting the spotlight on that. Okay, another question I have for you is, and we love talking about resilience on this show. So what's a moment in your life that changed everything that didn't feel big at the time? Moving my life from the East Coast to the West Coast was, to me at the time, and I'll say, most people think if you take a cross-country move, it's not the biggest deal. But for me, as a young 20-something-year-old, it just felt like the next season. It felt like this is the next thing that I want to do. I know I was leaving the land of my mother and father, and I was taking a leap of faith and just trusting God in this. But looking back on it, I kind of went into leaving everything and starting new really flippantly and just went with the flow about it. However, looking back on it 10 years from now, it was one of the most important things I've ever done, leaving comfort, leaving family, leaving what I knew to embark on a journey on my own. When I came to California back in 2015, I came with nothing. I literally came with maybe the clothes on my back. I did have a car. I got to sleep on my sister's couch. I had, a church family, and I had a job at UFC gym, but that was it. And I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I just wanted more, and I knew I wanted to step into purpose. And, now looking back on it, I've been able to make a pretty decent living. I've been able to, find community and find friends that I know will last a lifetime here. I found a wife. I found a beautiful bride who I love and adore. And we now have 2 beautiful kids and have made a home out of this great state. But at the time, I didn't think any of this was going to be here. I didn't think I would ever work for a company like FightCamp or start my own companies or, again, be a dad. And looking back on it, it was that small little leap of faith just to go that I think was been one of the greatest impacts in my life and my family's lives ever. It's impactful here, and all of us need to kind of remind ourselves that we have to sometimes go out of the comfort zone with just some faith to, give us the inspiration to move forward. So it's very powerful.
I appreciate that. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Let's just finish with this question. What lasting message do you have for our listeners about the intersection of boxing, mental health, and let's put in the demanding role of first responders? How do we kind of sum it all up?
First responders are first for a reason. Right? Let's call it what it is. You lay down your life. You put yourself in uncomfortable positions every day to ensure the safety and health and the betterment of others around you. It's a very selfless role in itself. But how do you pour from an empty cup? You can't. Mm-hmm. So as we talk about boxing, as we talk about mental resilience, as we talk about life, I want to encourage you to pour into yourself. You have to, whether that's rest, whether it's training, whether it's an activity that you enjoy. You need to do it for you. But also, again, in that selfless act, you need to pour into yourself so that you can continue to pour out into others. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I emphasize training so much. We don't have a guarantee that next week or tomorrow's workout will be here, but we do have these moments today. And every day we get 86,400 moments that we get to maximize and utilize. So today, if you have an opportunity to make progress, take it. Why would you not? If you have an opportunity to be better than you were from the day before, even if it's 1%, take it and don't look back. My encouragement to you is to live life with no excuses, to make no regrets, and to maximize every single day to the best of your abilities. Make these movements matter. Make these moments count, because they do, and because you do. And hit that bag hard.
Yeah, that was great. That was liquid gold, and I think you hit on something that is critical, and that's first responders are really good at taking care of others, but not necessarily so good at taking care of ourselves. And that cup can tend to get empty rather quickly. So important to fill it. And thank you for putting the light on that, because it's something that we all need to talk about and think about. Well, Coach, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and to kind of meet you and have a conversation. I just want to appreciate you for all that you're doing to help people kind of become their the best version of themselves. So thank you for coming on and being with us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Truly appreciate you and really hope you have the best day ever, man.
Thank you. Remember to like and subscribe YouTube, Responder Resilience, Facebook, Responder TV, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Please go to our website, respondertv.com, for past episodes and guest information. Until the next time, stay safe, be kind to yourself, take care.